The next morning, Eragon woke with stiff limbs and purple bruises. Book 1, Eragon, Chapter 22, Through a Dragon's Eye. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Paolini's inheritance cycle one chapter at a time. I'm Lucy Hart.
And I'm Darien Smartt.
And what a chapter.
What a
I love this chapter so much. It is definitely one of my favorites. But, as always, before we dive in, do you have any geodes or sparks of inspiration you would like to share?
I actually have a geode.
Ooh.
I finished my outline for the novel I'm going to write.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
No, thank you, Lucy. It's been, I have vibes. I have things in my head that I'm like, and I know this will happen, and I know this will happen.
Oh, yeah.
But I want the roadmap so I can, be following things and find opportunities to build and foreshadow and, do that.
Absolutely.
But I was, really struggling on, 3x structure, 5x structure, just,
Yeah.
And then Rick Riordan, the author of the Percy Jackson books, recently went on a book tour for Chalice of the Gods, the latest book he wrote.
Yeah.
And he was asked on tour what his process for writing the books is. How does he outline it? And he revealed that he doesn't make a traditional outline. He writes a 2-page summary, and then he just starts writing the books and fills in things as he goes along.
I love that.
So that's what I did. I sat down and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to write a 2-page summary.
Yeah.
And I did it. And it's probably going to change a lot, but that's fine. It's just a starting point. And while I was even working on the summary, I clicked in my head that a scene between these two characters would be really good to one, demonstrate this character's magical abilities in a natural way without being weird, being well, as you know, Jindu da-da-da, because this character that they're speaking to wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then also through that reflecting the other character in the conversation's emotional state.
Yeah.
And admitting the things they want and what they're feeling and where they're at. And I got excited about that. So I underlined it. I'm like, okay, don't forget to do this. I'm like, well, I might as well just do that right now. So I wrote 5 pages.
Oh,
and
that's very good.
So that's my geode, is that I actually started, and I have a thing, and I have the very beginnings of a draft.
That's so cool.
So thank you,
That's
Luce.
very, very, very cool. Do you mind if I just please.
Piggyback
on it, but just add on to that?
Lucy, please.
Yeah. So I've talked about it before on the podcast where I attended a writer's boot camp, and something that Monica said, the kind of leader of the boot camp, she said that not all authors write their book on outlines. It's everyone's oh, you need an outline. It's you, not necessarily. If you're someone that doesn't need an outline, don't feel bad that you don't need an outline or a different take on an outline. Whatever works for you and don't be discouraged because it's not quote normal and unquote. So definitely that was super cool that I was oh yeah, no, that's super cool that you found a way that works for you and it's not traditional. No, that's super cool.
And it was also helpful in writing the summary. I was okay, because I was stuck. I was okay, I know these things that happen, and then up till a point it goes blank in my head, and then I know how it ends.
Yeah.
I'm well, how the fuck do I feel this? I'm well, you have to things just need to happen.
Yep.
Well, here's a character I know I want. Well, let's introduce them now and have them think, and then they'll make this thing happen because this, and then they'll want this. So now we do this, and now the character has to do this to interact with this other faction in the city.
Yeah.
And then we have XYZ to the ending, and I'm oh, that worked. Okay. And so yeah, it was very good. And it was also funny because in the some of my other writer friends, Percy Jackson podcasters, when we were discussing Rick Riordan doing this 2-page summary, some others who are writers were that's insane. I could never. I can't imagine doing that. And I was over here oh, actually, I think that sounds really good for me. Not oh, it's the right way to do it, but I'm over here oh, actually, I think I like that very much, and I will try it.
Yeah, no, that's something I've been trying to write a short story actually lately, so I can actually send it to a publisher. Maybe publish this. So I might try. I have the outline in my head, and that's something. I don't know if it's, again, going back to the weird outline, whoever works it for everybody, but I usually have what's going to happen in my head. It's not I don't write it down, but I'm oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. I just haven't written it down. And some people could be that's not great, you should write it down. And I'm well, it's in my head.
You don't need it. Yeah, you know what's going to happen. I think, as you said, from the boot camp, it's there's no one size fits all. But if you're struggling to start.
Yeah.
these things can help. And I know I want an outline or the summary or like a roadmap.
Yeah.
So I can know what I'm working towards and put in depth for payoff leading up to it.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
That's very cool.
What do you have, Luce?
This one, I think my spark of inspiration. You know what? I'm going to talk about Narnia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I watched the movie the other day because I was cooking and I wanted something in the background, so I just put Narnia on.
Yeah.
And I've watched this movie multiple times, and maybe a little embarrassing on me.
No.
I always get so emotional at like the final battle.
No, it's so good.
It's
so good.
I think like one of the things that just gets my heart just like going is, and like, okay, my favorite animal is a cheetah. So bear that in mind. When they're charging and all the cats go in front and the cheetahs just like take off, they're like, nah, screw this, and they just take off, and one of them attacks a werewolf. That for me just is like, I want to write that. And it's like, for me, I almost get a little sad because I'm like, movies can do things that books can't just because it is a visual medium.
Yeah.
But it's like, and so I'm like, I can never recreate that scene because it is very visual, but I'm like, I could write about it.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, that's when I think writing battles is very difficult because there's a lot going on. It's a lot of chaotic, but you don't want to lose your you don't want to lose your readers and all the chaos. So it's like, I think that battle is really good because it's also like there is that beat of silence and then it clashes and it is chaotic and it is crazy. And so it's like that, I'm like, that to me, it was like, I'm like, that's a really good battle. And so like writing that and also just creating like these moments of like your favorite characters or your favorite animals or something are the ones that like, I know, like, I'm like, my favorite animal is the one that charged out first. I'm like, they had no idea that it was my favorite animal. Like,
but it feels like a gift for me.
Yeah, it was just a little gift for me that they had.
Me.
Yeah, because I remember watching the movie and then when the Peter, Lucy, and Susan walk up for the first time and there's a cheetah, I was like, oh my gosh, a cheetah. And then the cheetah was like essential in the fight. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like absolutely yes. So it's just like, I don't know, just those small things that just make me, that I want to write. Like, I'm like, I want to write a fight and have like maybe a cheetah come in and like kick some ass. Like, I don't know. So, but yeah, that was that.
No, listen, that movie beats ass.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's really good.
Visually stunning.
Yep.
Incredible. Great film.
Yep.
Every time. For real. Don't remake Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Like that movie's a perfect adaptation.
It really is. Like, I don't think there's a lot of good movie adaptations.
And Lucy holds up her.
But The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe is as close to perfect as we are ever going to get. I feel.
As a book to movie adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Speaking of,
let's
get in it. Through a Dragon's Eye. Eragon and Saphira finally put the saddle to use and fly together again. The experience is far more pleasant, with Saphira even showing Eragon the world through her eyes. After a time, Brom flags them down to share unfortunate news. Signs indicate that the Razak have taken to the skies and they can no longer follow their tracks. Fortunately, Eragon finds a valuable serum used by the Razak. He comes up with a plan to find a merchant who can tell them who purchased such a thing, hopefully leading them to the Razak's dwelling.
Very cool. I like this chapter. I mean, for the obvious reason.
Yeah, dragon
at the
flying.
very
We get
beginning.
A good, cool.
Oh yeah. But it's also at the end. It's like, oh, that's really smart, actually.
Yeah, Eragon has a star moment.
Yeah,
we love to see
absolutely.
But yeah, I love that Eragon is like so nervous about flying.
He's so
and
nervous.
Totally justified.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
It's been weeks, but that was traumatic.
Yeah.
Also coupled with the trauma of the surrounding events with the flight, but like, specifically like. It didn't go well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I highlighted that it almost like we're like, oh, Eragon's a little more at ease. Even though it doesn't say that, it's the last time Eragon had ridden Saphira, every flap of her wings had been strained. Now she flew steadily and effortlessly. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like that shows how young Saphira was when she took him and inexperienced, and now she is older and stronger and larger and more experienced, and she's like, oh, I got this.
She's done so much flying.
Yep.
Like every day for hours and hours she's flying.
Yep.
And so, yeah, she has gotten stronger and more skilled in flight.
Absolutely.
Because one of the first things when they're up there and Eragon gets, like, he's more settled in the sky, all of a sudden, she does, like, a barrel roll.
Yep.
And he's like, don't do that. I feel like I'm going to fall off. You must become accustomed to it. If I'm attacked in the air, that's one of the simplest maneuvers I will do.
I love that. Because it's like, yeah, dude. Like, what did you expect?
But I think it's also, like, indicates, like, Saphira's thinking about,
Yeah.
well, what do I do if I'm attacked up here? And she doesn't have anyone to train her. Like, Eragon has Brom to train him in magic, in sword fighting, and, like, literal social interaction with people. Saphira's doing this on her own. And the hours alone, she's like, I could just do a barrel roll.
I can just barrel roll.
How would I do that?
You know, that actually,
like?
I just thought about this. I didn't think about it before. It could be that Brom has talked to Saphira before without Eragon knowing. Maybe he does, and maybe he's heard stories about, like, this is what dragons did in fighting. When fighting in the air. Where, like, they're just talking, and so she's up there practicing just something with the stuff that he's telling her of the stories he heard or whatever.
I would like that. I feel like Brom's made such a deal about, like, oh, you don't communicate with another person.
I mean, that's also true.
But I like your thing a whole awful lot. I think for me, not obviously, but, like, the most interesting part of this flight together is Saphira using their intensifying the connection she and Eragon have by literally, like, drawing him into her mind.
Yep.
It's so cool. It's so cool because all of a sudden he's literally looking through her eyes. Everything was distorted. Colors had a weird, exotic tint. Blue were more prominent now, while greens and reds were subdued.
Yep.
Eragon tried to turn his head and body, but could not. He felt like a ghost who had slipped out of its ether. Pure joy radiated from Saphira as she climbed into the sky. She loved this freedom to go anywhere. Yep.
I really like the most prominent emotion he gets from her is just joy with flying. And I'm like, that's so freaking cool. That's so good.
And she looks back to see Eragon, so Eragon sees himself just, like, totally blank.
Yep.
Not her, but on her back. And it's, like, the joy and happiness she experienced. And as this, like, continues, he starts to, like, their connection grew stronger until there was no distinction between their identities. They clasped their wings together and dived straight down like a spear thrown from on high. No terror of falling touched Eragon, engulfed as he was in Saphira's exhilaration.
Yep. It's so good.
Yeah.
I do like how they, like, are so close and enjoying this so much that they do merge like that into, like, one consciousness.
Yeah.
That is, like, doing the thing. I also want to just point out something that I really like before they kind of join like that. When all of her muscles were like his own, he felt her tail swinging through the air like a giant rudder to correct her course. It surprised him how much she depended on it. And I love that. Because kind of throwback to How to Train Your Dragon in the first movie where Gobber says it's the tails and the wings you want. A downed dragon is a dead dragon. And so it's like, like, the tail isn't just because animal and they have tail. It's like, no, it's they use it. It's an essential part of flight.
Using it. Yeah, I love that. It's like animals that have tails, it's typically for balance or for swimming. It's for motor skills and maneuver, and so, like, having it be accustomed to it's part of her flying is so interesting.
It's very cool.
And also the leaning in, like, her eyes would not be human eyes, so she would perceive colors very differently. I think is so interesting.
I also agree. It does make me think, like, because the blues were more prominent, if, like, other dragons see, like, their colors.
I was wondering if, like, if it's like, wow, wouldn't it start to be like, oh, green dragon, and your color scales are so much subdued than the pretty blue dragons. So I was wondering, it's, like, interesting.
Yep. I do. I like that just as, like, a bit of flavor. It's
just
like,
so the dragons always view themselves as the most dazzling thing in the space.
Because everyone else is a little duller.
Vanity.
Yep. That's wonderful.
I like how this whole thing is a polar opposite of their first flight together.
Yes.
Where it's not only is, like, Eragon more comfortable because he has the saddle, Saphira is more experienced because she's older and had more like strength in flying.
Absolutely.
But also they are absolutely connected in this flight. Wherein they were totally
cut
separate.
Off.
Like Eragon was completely, like, kept out of her head during that first one.
Yep. And I think, like, another thing, too, is, like, the saddle helps because that's protecting him from her scales, but it's also helping him stay on her. Like, the reason why he was so clamped on her the first time was because he was scared of falling off.
Yeah.
And now, while that fear is still there a little bit, it's not as much because he is securely strapped on.
Yeah.
So I do really like that.
It's like free soloing versus top roping in rock climbing, where it's still scary to be up there climbing, but you also know I'm strapped in and I have like risk mitigation precautions. So can we read the conversation they have at the end?
Oh yeah, where
when they like separate again and Eragon's back in his own body.
Yeah.
That was incredible. How can you bear to land when you enjoy flying so much?
I must eat, but I am glad that you took pleasure in it.
Those are spare words for such an experience. I'm sorry I haven't flown with you more. I never thought it could be like that. Do you always see so much blue?
It is the way that I am. We will fly together more often now?
Yes, every chance we get.
Good. She's like, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yep. I love that so much, how excited Eragon is and be like, oh, how could you admit, like, it's so amazing.
Yep.
And I also love how he's like wants to ask more questions because he's Eragon. He's like, you're original, like, you always see blue like that. And she's like, yeah, but she pulls it back to what her most important thing is, like, are we gonna fly together now?
Are we gonna fly more, please?
And
he's like, yeah.
Because it's interesting it's not explored a little more, but it's somewhat, it is Saphira's fault that Eragon has been afraid to fly again. Yeah. Yes, she took off to protect him and she was scared.
Yep.
But she also like shut him out, didn't communicate, and it hurt him really badly.
Yep.
So like she didn't mean to, and what she did, she could probably will insist that was necessary for their survival.
Yep.
But it still resulted in a pretty severe trauma for poor Eragon about the flying thing. So I think Saphira wanting that like verbal like confirmation, thank you, of yes, Eragon does want to fly again. Like that, and probably bringing him in her mind and doing all that was in part to be like, can I show you what, like she said, I wanted to show you what flying could really be.
Yeah, and I think like I was literally just about to bring that up too, because it's like for her, she might be like, well, the first time we flew isn't great. I don't know if she, again,
that's an outlier and should not be considered. Like that's not what it's actually like. Yeah, it's usually not like that.
Yeah, and I think like that was I don't know. That wasn't if she flying.
That was fleeing.
Yeah, like I don't know if she would ever actually admit that she was in the wrong, because she's like, we would have died if we stayed. But she's very much like, let me show you. Like what you said, what it's actually like. Like, it is not like that. It's not like that. Let me show you, and like, and in a way that not a lot of people can experience the way flight is. And so, yeah, I think one of the big reasons why she did that on their first flight after their very first flight was to instill that joy and safety.
This is supposed to be fun and wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we have another actually really cool thing. Brom reaches out to Eragon to communicate with him in his mind for the first time.
Yep.
And big props to Eragon. Like he starts to feel like something,
like a buzzing,
and he remembers like, oh my gosh, Brom told me about people trying to like break into your mind. Like I gotta focus.
Yep.
And this is something that stays with me. He focuses on one of Saphira's scales and just pinpoints and focuses, and I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
And then, all of a sudden there's a gust of wind. It rocks Saphira. His concentration slipped, and then the force broke through. But instead of an evasive presence of another mind, there were only words. What do you think you were doing? Get down here. I found something important.
I love that.
Brom? Yes. No, get that oversized lizard of yours to land. I'm here. And sends him a picture of the location.
Yep. I do really love that, because Brom's like, oh my God. But real quick before we dive into that, because I do want to talk about that, is we actually get how Saphira has viewed Eragon and Brom traveling on the road. And they scouted the trail for Brom. This is when they're still in the air, which proved to be more arduous than Eragon expected. Yeah. They could not see the path unless Saphira flew very close to it, in which case she risked being detected. I think that is a 1000% great way to show, not tell, Saphira's frustration in having to fly so far away from them.
Yeah, it's not just Eragon goes into a city and then things happen, he gets in trouble.
Yeah.
It's also a literal, like, sometimes I can't find you.
Yeah, because it's like they're so far down.
See you
exactly.
all the time.
And I think it's really good because it's also showing like dragons aren't perfect. Like they can see great distances, but they still have trouble spotting things on the ground sometimes. So I just really like the fact that is brought to Eragon's attention, like, oh, I understand a little better now, kind of. So I just wanted to point that out.
It's really good. And then they do find Brom, but largely because he sent them an image of where he was at, and Saphira was able to use that to find him.
Then they land, and I love, and they're like, yeah, if there's trouble, we'll be ready for it. And they land, but there's nothing there, Brom. The horses are tied on the tree.
Brom's so mad.
And he's so mad. I like how he's, don't ever, like in the audible, he goes, don't ever block me out like that again. Like he's very like, don't do it.
And it's so funny. It's like, Brom, this is on you. You did not teach Eragon, and like I think it probably didn't occur to him. That maybe because they were together all the time. And so it probably hadn't occurred to him yet that like, oh, maybe we should practice communicating like that in case we need to, so you're familiar when it's me and not, because honestly, really, he's just so frustrated. I think Eragon should be complimented.
And I was
reacted quick, did something like, absolutely, that was stranger danger, Eragon.
No,
good
absolutely. Because like I was thinking about our previous conversations and others, like Brom's training with Eragon and how hard he is and how like rough he is with Eragon. I'm like, honestly, like he might have been mad, but he's like, good job for taking the, like, even though like that wasn't great and it took me freaking ever, good job on actually like recognizing a potential danger and attempting to block it out. Like, good, but you still need a lot of practice. Like it still could have stayed in Brom's personality. But like I agree with you. I think he should have complimented Eragon for taking the initiative. That's exactly what you needed to do.
Eragon, I'm proud of you. I think him being like, don't ever block me out like that again. Like, I think that's a totally valid response. But I think later on, they should have found it, like, circled back. Because it I don't know, that was impressive. Like, good job, Eragon. Good.
And it's like, again, like, this is the first time Eragon does it. So, like, the fact that his focus slips and then that force broke through, I think that would have been a really good, like, he's like, good job. Like, that was a good thing you did. You focused on a thing. You cleared your mind. But you need a lot more practice. To completely block people out. So
it's like, what were you focusing on? Oh, one of Saphira's scales.
All right, not bad. Yeah, exactly.
Like, figure out how to hold like that in your mind when you can't see it.
Yep.
But whatever. Because to be fair, topic changes big time. The Razak tracks completely gone. Because apparently these fools have flight. I mean, not they have flight. It looks like they took off on big birds.
And I did. I highlighted that in purple, so that'll be a coming back to moment. But yeah, like, and I think like he's like, "What do you see?" And then again, Eragon's like tracking mind comes back, and there's numerous footprints, and then there's long, thick gouges torn into the ground, and he's like, "Those look familiar," and I can't. And then he looks at Saphira and he goes, "Oh."
What it looks like when she takes off her claws, dig into the earth. So they clearly took off, like, obviously not on dragons, but on something with claws and flight.
Because that's like a really good point here. Is like, I can't think, but the only thing I can think of is that a Razak flew off on dragons, and he goes, does he say?
Or else they got onto giant birds and disappeared into the heavens.
Oh, yeah. And then they go, but yeah, he's like, he doesn't, Brom's like, I don't know what they are, but they aren't dragons. I know that much. A dragon would never consent to bear a Razak. So we're left with, like, what are these things?
Something
and that's, like,
good.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Razak are already scary. Now they're on something winged and clawed, and that's scary. But the problem is they can't track them anymore. Like, literally, they can't track them.
Yeah, they can't track them. Saphira can't track them through the sky. And even if she could, we could leave you far behind.
So they're trying to figure out what to do. And then Eragon. Oh, my boy. My curious, my inquisitive lad. What the hell? So he goes for a walk to try to figure out his plan. And he finds a metal flask with the silver insignia Eragon recognized as the Razak symbol was wrought onto it. Excited, he picked up the flask and unscrewed its cap. A cloying smell filled the air, the same one he had noticed when he'd found Garo in the wreckage of their house. He tilted the flask, and a drop of clear, shiny liquid fell on his finger. Instantly, Eragon's finger burned as it was on fire. He yelped and scrubbed his hand on the ground. After a moment, the pain subsided to a dull throbbing. A patch of skin had been eaten away.
Acid!
Acid splash! It's the acid splash!
It's the acid!
It's the acid, and that's what it is. Brom
Yep.
he brings it to Brom, and he reveals that, like, okay, this is like, it's a substance that it's like naturally occurring oil.
Yep.
That is used to harden pearls and make them more lustrous.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yep.
But I highlighted it. But when specific words are spoken over the oil, along with a blood sacrifice, it gains the property to eat any flesh.
And for me, I'm like, yeah, blood. For me, I'm like, a blood sacrifice would do that.
Yeah, magic.
Yep.
Yeah, I love more.
Like,
I love
yeah.
this whole, like, there's a lot of different ways beings do magic.
Yep.
There's not, because Eragon probably doesn't need to do a blood sacrifice.
No.
He could probably transform that without it.
Probably.
He could probably turn it from water into whatever this stuff
Yeah,
is.
I do think I am wondering, like, a blood sacrifice. I'm wondering if it's the evil of taking a life is what turns it into something evil.
Probably
So,
for that kind of
yeah.
magic. Yeah. Brom does compliment him for not drinking it.
I know. I
Just
like
pour it on his finger.
like literally every time I read that, I'm like, thank God he didn't drink it. Like, even though I know he doesn't,
wouldn't.
I'm still just like, the horror of if he just took a fucking swig and it'd be like, well, you're a puddle now.
I guess that's it. The fact that he still like pours it on like his finger and not like at least, I think it would have made like Eragon. I would have like poured it on like a leaf, and we find out that it only eats flesh, so it wouldn't have done anything. And then maybe he like
touches it,
but don't pour it because doesn't do anything to the leaf. And he's like, okay, and then because you wouldn't think that something that would like dissolve your flesh would not also dissolve a leaf if you're not familiar.
Yeah.
So it's just like Eragon does it's almost as if he got a, all right, what are you gonna do? You roll for wisdom. All right, I got a 2. So you pour it, you don't drink it, you do pour it on your finger though.
Yeah.
And then later on for the plan, it's like, okay, roll for intelligence. That's a nat 20. All right, so you're gonna find out who sold this.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. I just think I also want to commend Eragon for not like just dumping it on
That's
his
true.
hand.
One little drop.
Like, he just does a little boop, and it's like, okay, yeah.
It's like basic. This is like basic lab safety.
Yeah.
If
Oh
you're
my
gonna
God.
smell something, you don't put your face into it. And
I
breathe
just
in deep.
got
You
flashbacks to like 7th grade
Yep.
biology. Oh my God.
You wafted. You bring it
whiffed
up
it.
and you waft with your hand to smell it. I still do that. Like someone's like, smell this, and I wafted. Partly because one time a guy I went to high school with was like, oh, smell this, and it was like tobacco. So I was like, took a whiff. He's like, what were you doing? Did you learn nothing from Mrs. Balboa's science class? You're supposed to waft it. And I'm like,
You're like, okay.
why is this happening to
Yeah.
me? So, you know what? Yeah, we solved a thing.
Yep.
Found out more magic. It's used as a weapon of choice for torture and assassination. It can be stored in wood, slathered to the point of a spear, dipped onto sheet, so then the next person to touch it will be burned.
Yep. And that's so cool.
It's really cool.
Like,
It's
that's
really evil, but really
yeah,
cool.
it's such a good thing because it's like unlike acid, which can burn through anything and everything.
Yeah, you can't really
This is
store
like an
it.
interesting type that again like only burns like organic,
But it's flesh because
but
it won't
it's flesh,
hurt.
yeah, but it won't hurt wood or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's really clever world building that items like this exist.
Yeah, it just kind of
Yeah.
just heightens what is possible
Yep.
in this world. And so when we encounter other fantastical things,
Yep.
yeah, the world is just like this. It's
Yep.
not a convenient thing that was invented for the moment. The
Yep.
world is this.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, that's a good
It's
point,
really
Luce.
cool. Yep.
Is it convenient that the Razak happened to lost this like super valuable, very specific, very rare thing? Absolutely, it's convenient, but the plot needs to move
It's
forward
fine.
somehow.
It's all good. Yeah. And
I'm not mad.
I honestly find it believable too, like them swinging up and then it falling. They probably didn't realize it was gone until they landed wherever.
Oh,
they
yeah,
landed.
and they're gonna
We're
get in
like,
trouble.
Ah, crap.
Yeah. So it is confirmed that this is what was used on Garo.
Yep.
And that's why the rest, acid splash. Very
Acid
bad.
splash. Yep.
But yeah, and Eragon pauses to think, this oil, how rare is it? Like diamonds in a pig trough. Actually, the normal oil is used by jewelers, but only those who can afford it. So there are people who traded it. Perhaps one or two.
Because it's expensive.
Good. Now, do the cities along the coast keep shipping records? Brom's eyes brighten. Of course they do. If we get to those records, they could tell us who brought the oil south and where it went from there. And the record of the Empire's purchases will tell us where the Razak live.
Yep.
I don't know how many people can afford this oil, but it shouldn't be hard to figure out which ones are working for the Empire.
Yep.
Genius, exclaimed Brom. I wish I had thought of this years ago. It would have saved me many headaches.
Yep.
Eragon!
Yeah.
And then Brom gives him the positive reinforcement.
Yep, positive reinforcement.
So
it's
good.
really nice. And it's like, part of me when I was reading this, I was like, how would have Eragon come to that conclusion as a farm boy? Like, I'm like, how would have you done that? And then it was like, I do remember that the traders would come into town every winter, and Garrow saying like his coming to age speech where he's like, you know, be smart about things. And so Garrow probably taught him a lot of like that kind of stuff. Like Eragon knows how to bargain and knows how these like merchant kind of type things. So I'm like, yeah, no, it's not leaps and bounds that he wouldn't come to those conclusions.
Yeah,
also, Eragon is smart.
Eragon is smart, and he would know that merchants keep meticulous records of their goods.
Absolutely.
He probably has bought stuff with Garrow and saw the merchants write down and asked, what are you writing? And then some merchant would have told littlest kid, like, oh, I'm writing down the purchase so I know what I sold. And I have records of where I got it from.
Yep.
So, like, that's not out of the realm of possibility that Eragon would just know this.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's well within his character, and it delights me.
Yep.
And not so conveniently. I don't mean that sarcastically.
Yeah.
I mean that genuinely.
Yep.
Conveniently, we're going to go to Tarim, which is a big trading port with lots of merchants, and good news, Brom has a friend who's a merchant there.
Woo.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. And then Eragon discusses it with Saphira. I'm gonna ride Kadok tomorrow, but before you protest, know that I'm only doing it because I want to talk to Brom. You should ride with him every other day. That way you will continue to receive your instruction, and I will have time to hunt.
Yep.
You won't be troubled by it. It is necessary.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because it really does show that she acknowledges that I want you to fly with me, but also recognizes that this is not the most important thing. It is important, but you have other obligations as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold you back from that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
Like, even though she's really upset, and even though she wants to do this, she's like, no, like, I agree.
Necessary.
Like, yeah, you need to.
I'm not. She just doesn't say, I'm not troubled by it. I am, in fact,
she's upset about it, but
I would prefer it wasn't this way, but I recognize why it must be this way.
Yeah, she's not being selfish or
stubborn or unnecessary.
Yeah. I was like, it starts with an S.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I really like that about, like, just her.
Yeah, it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole chapter I liked a lot. I think it was just peak magical.
Yeah,
I love when we get magic, not only just like in Eragon and Saphira doing magical dragon rider things together, but also in like discovering this like terrible oil and hearing more about magic. Just like it was interesting, and Eragon did a clever thing. And I like it when the hero does a clever thing.
And you know,
after doing a really silly thing, Eragon.
Yep.
Drop.
Yep, absolutely. And I think like it's also good because the last couple of chapters, if I'm remembering right, has been pretty bleak and a little down.
We had a string of kind of bleak, somber. Nothing like Revelation at Yazwak.
Yeah, but it's been a bit, you know, a little bleak, a little sad. And then this was very much like an uplift we as readers and the characters needed. Yeah. So very much, yep.
Lucy, what is going to be your writing takeaway from this one?
Oh, gosh. I think I'm just going to maybe stick with the acid one where it's like, oh, maybe I already said that one. Take, like, the mundane items and see if you can't twist them into something interesting or perceived differently. I feel like I've done that before.
I think we talked about making the mundane. You at least just using the mundane to compare it to magic, but I don't know if you've done like elevating the mundane into magic.
Yeah, I might be thinking of when I was saying like Saphira is very cat-like, so
yes,
you can
that's
use
what
like
it was.
Normal things to turn them magical. And so I guess like in that sense, like if maybe listeners need to excuse maybe a bit of a repeat here, but just instead of like focusing on maybe like animals, also see what you can do with items and things. Like see if you have like this you don't have to like, oh, there's this horrible poison, but I can't write poison because that's an everyday. It's like, well, you throw a little flavor in it. Like maybe it doesn't like affect like maybe it's like a poison that like it dissolves flesh and not bone, or
the flavor.
like just like add a little your own flavor in there. So.
Yeah, I really like that, how it is not just like, oh, a wretched oil that only the Raza. It is like, oh, this is actually a thing that jewelers use, but can be corrupted with magic to be something more violent.
I mean, that's like salt, right? Like salt's made of. Or is that right? Something is made out of like these two like really bad.
Oh yeah, salt. Table salt.
Table salt is like the two molecules or whatever it is.
Yeah, they will interact and can cause
real bad stuff.
But when they're table salt,
it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's like the reverse table salt.
Yeah, reverse table salt. So like, like think about that. Think of like, and I think that maybe that's what I can really drill down to is like maybe taking something bad, but to have its origin be good. And it's like it actually wasn't meant to do this, but someone. All I can think of is the word perverted. If someone perverted its use into making it bad.
Yeah, I think that doing those things like elevate the world quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Mine is gonna be convenient isn't a dirty word.
Yeah, I like that. I very much like that.
I think it's like, oh, and like I tease like, oh, isn't that convenient? It's like, yeah, it's convenient. It means we have a story. It's convenient that the egg showed up for Eragon. It's convenient that it hatched. It's convenient. Yeah, I think you have a lot of bad faith reviews, all of the CinemaSins thing, that'll be like, oh, isn't it convenient that this just happened to happen? It's like, yeah, it's a story about how this happened to happen, and that's the story. Like, people wandering into the protagonist in the desert and finding their... Yeah, it's convenient that they walked into the same bar together. It's convenient that they crashed their spaceship next to the town where Rey was going to be. It's convenient. And that's a story. That's so sometimes you are allowed. It shouldn't be like the ultra. Well, I think I was going to say the ultra big thing shouldn't be, oh, isn't that convenient? Because it's like feels unearned. But like the inciting incident of your story can be a convenient thing happened, and now the story will happen because of it. Or in, hey, I need to figure out how like it's got boring with them just following the Razak the whole time. How do we up the story? Well, they can't follow the Razak anymore. They have to go somewhere else. Well, how do we keep the plot? Well, the Razak lose a thing, and they're going to go do this thing now. Like, that is convenient that they dropped it, but it also keeps the plot going in a very interesting and satisfying way.
Yeah, they're still traveling. They're still on an adventure.
Yeah. And I think, so convenient isn't a dirty word. It's like okay for stuff to just kind of happen to what is it? Listen, sometimes things just happen. And isn't that interesting?
Yep, I agree. I kind of building off that, if I may.
Please.
I had somebody ask me like, why does such horrible things, or why do things always happen to your character? And I'm like, because they're the main character.
Because they're the main character.
It's interesting because it's like you wouldn't want to focus on a boring old person who's just living out their life. Like that might be interesting for some people, just like watching someone.
That's your story.
Yeah, like doing that. But it's like at one point or another, there has to be conflict. At one point or another, there has to be something that pulls in, because otherwise, like my life is boring. No one would want to read about my life. It's very, very mundane. I wake up, go to work, come back, and then that's it, basically. So it's like, but I'm like, what if I went to work and freaking dragon ripped off the roof and like kidnapped me? Like that would be a story.
Now there's a story about things that happen to people.
Yeah. And so it doesn't even have to be magical. So no, I definitely agree. Something needs to happen, and sometimes it's convenient, and that is okay.
It's convenient. I want to read a couple things from our listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
They left a couple answers to a few of our questions. Sometime back, we asked what's the most interesting like landscape thing you ever saw? And Zoe told us about a giant statue of a cow with stickers on it. I
love that.
Fascinating.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Listener Banana Phone, in one of our early episodes, we referred to him as like, we're gonna keep calling it. Yes, we know it's the inheritance cycle. We're gonna call them the Eragon books.
Yeah.
Call the books what they are. I call them the Eragon books too. Nothing wrong with that. IMO. Loving the discussions so far. Not 1, not 2, but 3 blue hearts.
Yay!
Thank you.
Very good.
They also, the same listener responded to our question about who's your favorite fictional villain. I can't remember who my actual fave is, but I will say Preminger from Barbie, Princess and the Pauper.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
I love it. Very good.
Classic. we've got quite a few other listener responses that we've gone over the last several weeks because it's been multiple episodes that have come out since the last time we recorded.
Yep.
I'm not going to read all of them right now because we're about to record several episodes. So we'll sprinkle those throughout rather than dump them all here.
I like that. Very good.
But needless to say, Curtis Moore has been the morest.
Yep.
And so we'll definitely get into some of Curtis's excellent responses and tidbits.
Fantastic.
Next time.
Yep.
I'm going to betray myself for this one. I know I said convenient is not a dirty word, and it's not.
Yeah.
I will stand by that. But there are times when you've definitely encountered a thing where you're like, oh, well, that's convenient, isn't it? And it feels unearned.
Yeah.
So what's, dear listener, the most unearned convenient plot thing you've encountered in a story? Vent. We all have one, and they're annoying.
Absolutely. I like that.
Well, until next time, she's Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smartt.
And this is Eragon.
And back again.